That's not true. Mike Steele, Bruce Parkinson. This is Bruce's day, so we got to be nice to Bruce. Bruce is going to be inducted.
But we have to be nice, sir.
Okay.
We don't have to be nice.
But I want to give introductions of who these guys are. If you're a Purdue basketball person, you know who these guys are. Bruce Parkinson played at Purdue 1973 to 77. Mike Steele 73 to 76. Correct. And Mike from Robinson, Illinois, and a guy named Robin McCarter and Mike Steele together at the same time. Bruce Parkinson, the pride of Yorktown, Indiana, and Purdue's all-time assist leaders. Now, so we have our 3 minutes of being really nice to you about it. But really, in all seriousness, this is a big, for me personally, this is a big deal to have you in the Hall of Fame, a place you should have been a long time ago, in my view. Purdue's all-time assist leader. What does it mean? I mean, it's a big deal to have for you to have that opportunity tonight.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. Unlike the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, which is this is a higher level of competition at the college level, and it's across all sports too. It's not the Purdue Basketball Hall of Fame; it's Purdue Athletic Hall of Fame, and so I mean, and the men and women who competed at Purdue. So it's when Mike Babinski called last fall. Just happened to be in Cracker Barrel waiting to go in with my mom, taking her to see the eye doctor, and I said, Mom, I better call him back. Actually, I thought he was reaching out for a fundraiser.
Yeah.
He was looking for
guys.
Yeah, I hadn't met Mike yet, but so Mom got to hear that call, and it's a big deal, and I can't wait for tonight. I have a lot of friends and teammates, including Mike, coming, and Mike's going to be introducing me. And
yeah, we get the speech is ready. Is it under 20 minutes?
No, if I got it ready that fast, then I'd forget it by now. So, no.
Yeah, and Mike, obviously a long time. Both these guys are. When you get a chance, we should be doing a 2-hour podcast just talking basketball, because you guys are complete. Is it a treasure trove, a trough, whatever term you want to use of information. But Mike also has coached DePaul, East Carolina.
Butler.
And Butler as well. That's right. I forgot about that as
Coach
well.
Joe.
And and has had a great career in basketball too. One of the stories you've told me, Mike, over the years is about playing Bruce one-on-one and how hard he was to beat. Is that true in terms of in practice? Did you ever beat him?
Oh yeah, I beat him most of the time. But I wanted to make sure, as a sub, you got to try to make sure you keep the starters' attitude right. Their confidence up. So, no, he beat me so many times. We played one-on-one at Mackey, at Lambert, at the Korak, at the Beta House. At Sears.
Sears.
I kept trying to find a home court, but I couldn't get it done. But we played so much, and we played so many pickup games, and because we love playing, that's the thing that I know it made me better playing against him because he was so good. But I think that my senior year, our second team, we had Kyle Macy and we had Jerry Seasting and myself, and so it was we had good battles until then Park got hurt, and so we
and a guy named Eugene Parker too.
And Eugene. And
Not a bad group.
No, great players, great guys. We had a good group.
One of the guys that we're all close to and has passed away a few years ago, but a day that this would mean the world to him, was Bob King. And Bob, responsible for bringing both these guys to Purdue, certainly had a role in that in recruiting in the day, but not only your favorite Coach Bob story, but just putting that into perspective of that long-term association, in both of your long-term association with Purdue. But what do you think Coach Bob would be thinking today?
well, I wish he was here. Number one. Mike King is coming. His son Mike is coming and sitting at our table, so he'll be there representing Coach Bob. But he's the reason I'm here. I was here, and I still remember as a sophomore, Coach Bob snuck into this gym at Delta High School, and he had his cardigan sweater on, and his khaki pants, and a white polo underneath it, and it was this is Yorktown now, so I mean, for a Purdue guy, that everybody knows Coach Bob in Indiana basketball. think he was the only guy that, Purdue guy that
Yeah.
Coach Knight was friends with.
Yeah, that's
And
about
so
right too, Todd.
He would come to games or, he had this, he would write handwritten notes.
Yeah.
And I found one the other
Yeah.
day, and those things meant more than anything. And I know Mike we've had some great times with Coach Bob, and he was like a second dad. And I'll tell Mike again tonight, thanks for sharing your dad with us.
Yeah, it was Bob with that little encircled thing,
You
right?
know,
It turns that.
when I send out emails, I always put an MS.
Yeah,
And people go, why do you do that? When I said, no, because Bob King. That's kind of my way of thinking about Coach Bob. And I didn't go to Purdue because of Coach Bob, but I graduated because of Coach Bob.
yeah.
Now,
I think there are a lot of people who say that.
Coach Bob, this was before computers and all the things,
Yeah.
and all the study halls and all. And you'd go to that locker, and boy, you'd go in there and it'd say, see me before practice, see me and go. That class was just 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, he knew when everybody missed a class. He knew, and once you went up there, it was like the IRS. He already knew. So
Yeah.
you couldn't tell him the truth.
Either class or parking ticket.
Oh
Yeah, or both.
Yeah.
1974 was a magical year, and both of you guys played big roles in winning that NIT championship. And putting that into perspective, these guys know this like the back of their head. Purdue ended up that season ranked 11th in the country after winning the NIT, a team that would have been probably a 3 seed at the most in the NCAA tournament. Of course, in those days, only 32 teams went. You win that. I'll ask you, Mike, first, just your takeaways, because there was Jerry Nichols' injury, and you came in and played a huge role in the especially in the last couple games in New York City. But it's only been 46 years.
gosh.
What do you put that into perspective though today in your memories of that?
I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
It's funny the things you remember. I can remember going into Madison Square Garden, and there's Bill Bradley and DeBuscher and
Yeah.
all those
Walt
guys.
Frazier.
Walt Frazier.
Yeah.
Earl Monroe playing horse, playing. It was just. And back then, if you were in the 32, you went and you
Yeah.
stayed
Yeah,
until.
that's right. It was all, you
So
were there.
we
all
were
the time.
there. Yeah. Park and I roomed together for felt like a long time. But we played Carolina the first game,
Right.
and they were ranked the top 3 or 4 in the country. Had a couple guys that were on the Olympic team, and
Yeah.
we all just kind of. Jerry O'Brien, I'm getting ready to go to Myrtle Beach and play golf.
Yeah,
As soon as we lost that
Yeah.
first game, well, so much for Myrtle Beach.
We were fraternity brothers,
Yeah.
and I think we both packed for the weekend.
Yeah.
So we had to buy some clothes and get some clothes clean because we were there 11 days.
yeah,
Oh yeah, but it was. And the thing I think that probably Coach Schaus didn't get enough credit for, and Bruce didn't get enough credit for, in that all those years we never finished below 5th
Yeah.
in the Big Ten, and now if you finish 4th or 5th in the Big Ten, you're not only going somewhere, but you're going to probably win your first game
Yeah.
because you're going to be a pretty high seed. And in '74, NC State won the national championship,
Yeah.
and we had them down about 10
That, yeah.
at home, and so we were every bit as good as anybody that year.
And you talk about the great environment in Mackey Arena, and you guys have both been come back regularly and are in the stands. And it is a great environment. That was a great environment then. But part of the reason was you guys played fast basketball. I know that Fred Schaus was actually George King was a protege of Fred Schaus, if you
Yeah.
look at it that way. But you guys picked it up, laid it down in terms of getting up and down the court. Maybe that's why you had all those assists.
I had a lot of good guys that
Yeah.
could score.
Tell me about some of your guys.
So,
Just get up and down. John Garrett,
It was
on
like,
down the line.
I was thinking about this the other day, thinking about ahead to this weekend. It was almost like 2 eras. And the first era was with Jovan,
Yeah,
Frank,
yeah.
and Big John
Yeah.
Garrett.
Yeah.
And then John he stayed with us for 3 years. Frank graduated, of course, Jovan, and then it was Wayne, Walter, and Eugene
Yeah.
the next years. And the guys we played against, I'd totally forgotten. Steve Downing. I didn't remember playing against Steve
Yeah.
Downing. That was his senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Campy
game, too.
Russell.
Yeah.
Campy.
B. Hagan, Brewer, Turner, and Dave Winfield
Yeah.
from
Minnesota.
Luke Whitty,
Yeah.
Alan Horniak.
I think I stayed in the locker room.
It was,
Oh,
and
no,
then,
and Indiana.
Well,
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
all the
unfortunately.
Indiana guys, they're
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah,
They're the greatest
yeah.
teams. Maybe.
And the other, and they were all seniors.
Yeah.
I mean, we were playing, it wasn't like, the one and dones then. It was, everybody had veterans that I think Campy left
He left
1
a
year
year early.
early.
Yeah, he left
He
a
left
year
1
early.
year early, and I remember Mark Olberding.
Yeah. Right.
Who left her. But everybody else,
Michael
that North
Thompson might have
Carolina,
left a year
Yeah.
early, but I can't remember. I can't
Sure.
for sure.
very few.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was different between now and then is that when Mike and I were freshmen, Jolan was a senior.
Yeah.
We played 24 games.
Yeah. That's it.
24 games.
Yeah.
I was looking at this, and I played 112 games.
Yeah.
2 of those were the redshirt year. I broke my wrist.
Yeah.
Vince Edward played 138
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
He played more games than we had our freshman season.
Yeah.
26
Yeah.
more games than we played.
Yeah.
And when you think about that,
Yeah.
and the 3-point shot, and the Big Ten tournament, and the 60, the full NCAA field, it was a different era.
Yeah.
And
Well, Parks,
but man, we played.
our
against some good
freshman year
players.
was the first year that freshmen could play on the varsity.
Right.
And there were only 2 that started every game. One was Quinn Buckner, and the other one was Park. And I mean, because most time nobody even went in thinking they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
going to start or play. And as soon as we got there, Park was he was the best from
Yeah.
day one. He was the best.
I like the story, though. I think you've relayed this in the past, but you didn't really expect that, though. I mean, you didn't go in thinking, and your locker changed late in the process. Tell us how that all went down to when you all of a sudden got really called up to the varsity, so to speak.
I had forgotten that they referred to it as the varsity.
Yeah, and JV at
and
the
then
time.
the JV team, and Mike will remember this. Robbie, Brad McNulty, Mike, and I, we were down in the big open
Yeah.
locker room. We were
Yeah.
freshmen, and
East locker,
track
right.
guys were in there,
Yeah.
some of the football guys. It wasn't like the facility. Everybody was in there except the basketball
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And a week before the season, you remember the equipment manager that always growled at us because we won those sweatbands.
Yeah.
My stuff wasn't in the locker when we got there, and as you've heard me say before, I went to the equipment manager and said, "Hey, forgot to put my stuff in there," and he said, "No, it's in the varsity locker room." And I mean, I had no clue.
Yeah.
We had no clue. I went back to those guys, and I said, "You'll never believe it." My heart was beating like
Yeah.
this, and so from that point, Coach didn't pull me in and say, "Hey, Bruce, this is going to happen." It just went, and he's laughing because I don't have my equipment stuff, and I got to go get the equipment
Yeah.
manager. We knew he was going to growl at us, and we were
No.
scared to death though.
And
The legendary Frank Cedarquist, I think. Is who that
no, it was.
Yeah.
And you know what? And while he was doing that, Brad McNulty, who is one of our good friends, one of my best friends, he after the first day of practice, he leans over to me and he says, "Did Georgia recruit you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, we got to go." He goes, "I can't do this every day."
Yeah.
And he said, "Coach Johnson thinks I'm Gail Goodrich and you're Jerry West." He goes, "This is no fun at all." That was the first day. And the second day, he does a warm-up thing and he pops his...
That was it.
Yeah,
Right.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was...
Brad, the son of Carl McNulty, a pretty
Yeah.
boy Jamaica legend,
Legend.
just passed away here not long ago at the age of 89, and a guy that there's some legendary names in your time, and yet you have a chance now to watch Purdue play. And I'll start with you, Bruce, in terms of team that's 14-13, trying hard to make the tournament. What are you seeing? And obviously a big challenge tomorrow against Michigan.
Yeah. Well, everybody's watched, kind of what. Think back last year
Yeah.
at December, all of us were really concerned.
Yeah.
And then, Matt has a way. He is so patient. He's patient, more patient than I think hardly any coach in America. And that patience played out in the NCAA tournament
Yeah.
where Carson was the Carson
Yeah.
got drafted
Yeah.
and is currently with the Celtics. This team, we knew this was rebuilding because when Purdue has been good, it's juniors and seniors
Yeah.
who have been in Matt's program
Yeah.
for 3 and
Yeah.
4 years. That's when we've been really good. And so we don't have that quite that yet. There are some guys that are kind of struggling that we thought would step up and would kind of negate maybe some of that rebuilding. Eastern may be finding his way of how we can keep him in there and take advantage of his defense and strength and rebounding. We're thin and inconsistent at the forward position. If we got a little bit more out of them, I think, and you watch a game and you just think Aaron's going to do it.
Yeah.
Aaron's turning the corner. He will. I hope it's yet this year, but he's too good not to. And if he is there playing and with Boudreaux, but I think we're a little thin at that forward position, and so that's. You look at all the forwards that are going to play with Michigan this weekend.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah. I think I love it.
No.
And you were the last game you were here in person was Michigan State.
Michigan State.
So there should be no problem.
No, I mean, and that's the thing that makes it so frustrating, I think, and frustrating for the coaches. I mean, I'm talking to Matt, and he's like, well, we started these 5 guys, and we got 6 points out of them, and the bench, and then the next, he doesn't really have anybody that he can say, like, this guy's going to get 18 or 20, and this guy, I mean, every game, I told him, I said, well, I'm coming for the Michigan game, and I said, I'll bring one of those magic 8 balls.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing to do.
Because he's tried lots of different combinations, and it's when we're good, we're really good, and when we're bad, we're not very good. I mean, that's just kind of the.
We clearly did play better at Wisconsin. I mean, we were right there.
Yeah.
And that's,
And
it's hard to win on the road. I mean, to
Yeah.
think that they went down and beat IU on the night, Bob Knight, I
Yeah.
mean, that might
That's
be one of
impressive.
the biggest accomplishments that any Purdue team has had.
No, I agree. And then, Wisconsin, and it's so funny, like, everybody thought that Wisconsin, when that kid quit, that they were going to be done.
Yeah.
Well, they've been so much better since he quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows you never know what's going on internally, but they're having fun. They're shooting more threes. I mean, they're
Pretty loose with it.
they're pretty loose. And if you would have told me that at this time, Penn State, Rutgers, and Illinois were going to be at the top of the big, there's no way.
Illinois is pretty good too. I mean,
So is Penn State.
Oh yeah, they're all good. I mean,
No, Penn State will win some games.
It's going to be a fascinating Big Ten tournament. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it really will be because I think you could build a case 10, 11 teams could.
Every game
Yeah.
from now on,
Yeah.
and you hate to say it's a must game, but I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 weeks, somebody loses 2 games. Ohio State kind of got back in it, then they lose 2 straight,
Yeah.
then it's like in Illinois, then Illinois goes and beats Penn State. I felt like after we beat Indiana that we beat Penn State here, and we couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
They were just we couldn't stop them.
Bruce, you're going to have you have your remarks planned tonight, but what in terms of this, putting this all into context, and you've talked about just what it means for you and your family. Your dad, obviously, a great, legendary basketball person as well. This is a special moment, though, I mean, for you, and really congratulations, because if you didn't see Bruce Parkinson play, you missed. Well, if you didn't see Mike Steele play too, same way. But having an opportunity, having a guy that was really.
I appreciate that, but
I wanted to keep you on the set,
but go ahead.
but just the ability to do what you did, and one of the things we were talking about, the triple doubles. Joe Barry Carroll's the only one to have a triple double in the history of Purdue basketball. You were the closest other person. I don't know if you know the game.
Really?
It's Minnesota, and you're like
He was
11-10.
He's the only
11,
one.
10, and 7, I believe. Joe Barry Carroll's the only one to do that. But your well-rounded play was, and I guess I'm leading to a question here for both of you, but just how much has this game changed? I mean, and if you looked at how you were trained growing up, obviously the game from AAU has changed, but put that into perspective on how different it is.
Well, I mentioned a couple of those things before, 3-point line, Big Ten tournament, and NCAA tournament.
But in terms of prep, in terms of what it takes to be at this level.
Well, the bigger and stronger thing is true in all sports. Now, if Mike and I were growing up and in elementary, we might have a personal coach if we could afford it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that wasn't even, we didn't have AAU, excuse me, then. But I was fortunate to play for Coach Schauss, who really believed in me, gave me a chance right at the beginning. And I probably averaged maybe 35 minutes a game.
Yeah, you played a lot of time.
Hardly anybody plays that much anymore, or should be playing that much anymore, because they have to play so hard to each time out, and it's so much more physical, and it's very demanding. And the teams that have some depth, you just don't see that many people. Cassius Winston,
Yeah.
I mean, has to play.
Yeah.
I suspect he must average somewhere in
He's over
that
30,
35,
yeah.
36 minutes a game, but that just doesn't happen so much anymore. And you don't see a guy like Cassius, or how I tried to play in terms of setting people up for points, for baskets, John, Walter, Frank. I don't see that in today's point guards. It's more of, and Mike, you coached, but it's more of a flow versus a play that we used to either run a back door or throw it over a guy's ear when John Warren an inbounds play to John when he's not paying attention. Now, I mean, and they want to use the shot clock
Big
as
difference
well.
too,
But
sure.
you've coached and you felt it.
The thing I think is that the AAU, I mean, there's some good things, but there's also some really bad things about the AAU. And I mean, obviously all the shoot guys and all the money and stuff, but the AAU, the point guard gets it, and then the point guard shoots it. If at all possible, he shoots it. If he doesn't, it's because he couldn't get the shot off. I mean, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
And when they lose the game, then they go to this gym and play.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's not, I think that's the biggest thing is that also we didn't have to go out and guard guys in the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And I think that takes so much out of guys. I mean, you just go behind the screen. Just go behind the screen. And now you got guys having to fight through those screens.
No shot clock.
And and the shot clock. You can take your time and you can hang on to it. But I'm not sure that there's still guys that can pass it, but there are very few players. Maybe the guy at Duke who are thinking pass first.
Yeah.
And Park was always thinking pass first. And there's not many guys that do that.
The guy to really watch, if I were giving advice to current Purdue guards, I'd say watch T.J. McConnell for the Pacers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at the difference between McDermott last year and McDermott this year.
Yeah.
When he comes off a pick, T.J. already knows he's coming around a pick, and he's going to throw the ball before he's actually open. And his numbers are way up, and it's because of that guy.
Yeah.
He's the only one that I watch, even in the NBA, who is thinking about that for his teammate ahead of time.
You know who else
It makes
does
the
it
game so much
that's really
easier.
good because he can't shoot is the Simmons kid at the 76ers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get 12,
Yeah.
15 assists. And LeBron, as good as LeBron is, he still gets guys involved. He gets so many triple doubles because he wants to. You just tell guys all the time when you coach them, and like I coach a junior high team for fun now, and you tell them that when you're as excited as you pass the ball and that guy scores as when you score, then you're going to have a pretty good team.
Yeah.
When your mom and dad are just as excited when Jimmy gets as when Bruce gets, then you got a chance. But it's hard to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, this show will be continued sometime down the road because we could go on for hours, and we appreciate that. Bruce, have a great night tonight.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and we're excited for you. And Mike, I know that you've got that speech ready. We did shout out to Jerry O'Brien also, who's playing some golf. But he said that he will
He's
be
playing
watching.
what? I'm sorry.
He's playing golf. He says he's playing golf.
Okay. Okay.
All right. They're skeptical, Jerry. If
Yeah.
you watch this on replay, you'll get the chance to see that. We'll take a short break and bring in Brian Newbert will give us some. Just came back from availability, and we'll have produce a pregame look at Michigan as well. So take a 2-minute break and be back on Gold and Black Live.